back to another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are your host. He's the Stallion. I'm the Enforcer. And this week we are joined by a very special guest. As we mentioned last week, you might know him from NXT as Asher Hale, but you probably know him as Anthony Henry, one half of the Workhorsemen and a very busy individual, man. Welcome back to part two. I really appreciate you taking some more time with us.
Of course, man. The last time was a little weird and staticky on my part, I think. So we should be good now because I'm in the comfort of my home this time.
Sweet. So you were traveling last time? Were you moving? What were you doing?
Yeah, we were traveling. We were just going to hang out, going to see people at home.
Cool. I know you. Oh, God. Sorry, go ahead. I said last time you mentioned, as we just you mentioned that you had moved to Orlando, or have you moved back from Orlando?
Not yet.
Okay.
So we just went to visit, but we're back in Orlando right now. So yeah, it'll be like 3 more weeks, and then we're heading back permanently.
Oh, okay, cool. Do you miss home, or are you kind of loving the Orlando life?
I like Orlando. It's much different than home. But where we're at and where we're located and just the atmosphere here is really nice, actually. So it will be somewhat missed.
Sure. But nice to get back home at the same time, right?
Of course. Our support system's at home, you know?
Sure. And looking at your schedule, you've got quite a busy September, October, next couple of weeks. We left off when we were talking. You were explaining to me how good JD Drake looks in fishnets. I think that's where we ended. So
yeah,
we had kind of talked. You said you were talking to JD a lot, and you guys still talk pretty much every day. You said, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's awesome. He's doing some really great stuff, and the professional wrestling world is really just wide open now. And when you signed to NXT in January, I don't think the forbidden door was open at that point, right? That was kind of like just a weird internet like prophecy thing, but it really wasn't wide open like it is now.
Yeah, everything's wide open now.
Would that have altered your decision making or anything like that? Like if now you see like, AEW working with NWA and Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling and stuff like that, and you could literally be signed to any company and kind of walk in the door of any other company. Would that have how does that change your mindset? Like, and when you think of NXT, because NXT and WWE are very just like, you're here, right? And now it's like, CM Punk just mentioned, which we could talk about, like he just mentioned he might go to the G1. And I'm like, what kind of like crazy world are we living in where everybody is coming together? I think it's such a crazy different time for wrestling.
Yeah, I think it's really cool though. It's the dream is to be able to kind of venture out and just do these different things all within the realm of the professional wrestling world. It's something that maybe we've missed. I don't know. Going forward, I think that the possibilities are endless. So it's really cool to think of the matchups and just different things that can happen now. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think it's all going to be positive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's ever been a more positive time, especially for the fans, because you have so many options and you have so much wrestling, and now you could have those fun matchups that you never kind of expected. Your Twitter is great. I think it's super positive, and you post a lot of fun questions on there. You asked earlier I think it was a couple days ago, if the Workhorsemen were to come back, you and JD Drake, who would you like to wrestle? Now, I don't know, like, so JD Drake is working with AEW, but he's pretty much free to work wherever he wants. And I think the fans were like very excited at the idea. And you have a lot of offers. I saw Game Changer Wrestling was talking to you. Beyond Wrestling was adding you. I'm like, the free agent market, it's hot right now, right?
Oh yeah. And that's the predicament I'm in. Like, going in to NXT and being signed there and working, with WWE is just that, if nothing else, the 6 months that I was there has just, I think, given me a lot more exposure and has helped within my future wrestling career, because now I have a lot more opportunity, I think, And so I can't complain in that aspect. And I'm just excited to see what happens, because I really don't know. I've obviously been talking to various places, and it's out there, but as of right now, I don't know what's going to happen, where I'm going to wrestle. I have some places locked down that hasn't been announced yet. So we'll see. I'm just excited. The like you said before, the landscape is crazy now. So we have all these hills and valleys and mountaintops that we can go to now that we couldn't go to before, because it was all a flat surface.
Right. And there wasn't a lot of fun left, right? And there wasn't a lot of
Right.
surprise. You
Right.
mentioned you're talking to a lot of places. I'm not going to poke and prod and be that guy, but places that you are not already booked for, you're saying you have other things lined up. Okay. I'm not one of those investigative journalist guys. I just want to, I get, well, you mentioned JD Drake, but then you also had a really interesting list of guys, the list of, that wasn't the list you said, of guys that you wanted to wrestle. Do you are we, the list of guys that you put out, I think it was like Lee Moriarty, John Gresham was on there. And then you also mentioned about, teaming with JD Drake. So are you looking more for, at this point, doesn't matter singles or tag, you kind of seems like you're just looking to have fun and have good matches. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. That's when I got into wrestling, all I ever wanted to do was be respected for my in-ring ability, which meant going out there and just having these crazy performances and being consistent with those performances. And not that I haven't been able to do that over the last 6 months, but to some degree, I just didn't have the freedom that I think would help me go to that next level and really get to show people. And so now I have no chains. I'm free to do this professional wrestling thing the way I see fit. And so yeah, so it's all about having matches and fun matchups and just enjoying the time in the ring. That's simple as that. And whether it's tag team action with Drake, whether it's single action, I don't care. I just want to go out there and have fun, entertain the fans watching, and of course get paid.
Listen, at the end of the day, we want to have fun and get paid to do it. So I want to respond to your tweet on air, because you said, who would you like to see you and JD return against? And I have two teams in mind. One, the Briscoe brothers, Jay and Mark Briscoe versus the Workhorsemen would just be fantastic. And another person you mentioned, actually, JD Drake just wrestled them, Kevin Blackwood and Daniel Garcia over at Limitless Wrestling. So I don't know if I have to tweet to somebody, if I at a particular company, but I will do that. It's cool because you guys make such, you make such an interesting team. But then the list of guys that you mentioned for singles matches, Joe and I were talking last week. I watch New Japan Strong a lot, and I watch Ring of Honor a lot, and I don't think there's a better candidate for the pure division than yourself. That you, Gresham, Josh Woods, Jay Lethal, that's a style, and you competed in Bloodsport too, so that's a style you're very familiar with, and of course you have martial arts training, so the fans would love to see kind of fit right in there. Is that something that would interest you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to any and everything. As long as it's works out, if it makes sense for me, as long as I'm having fun, those are the most important things to me. And the pure division with Ring of Honor is obviously something that is close to my heart. The style, the athletes that they have are tremendous. I think I would fit in well there. I think I would fit in at a lot of different places, because the thing about, again, talking about stylistically and what I always wanted to do with this professional wrestling thing is I wanted to be someone who could go in there and kind of do anything. I may have a preference towards, mat-based technical wrestling, but for a long time, I was known for striking. That's what people really paid attention to. But there's other things I can do as well. And so I always just wanted to be that kind of well-rounded guy. So I think I fit in a lot of different places. Ring of Honor definitely is up there as far as where I think I could fit in the best. We'll see what happens. Like I said, as long as I'm having fun, as long as I'm getting paid, and as long as I'm the fans want it, that's all that matters.
And there's, you know, like you said, not the chains are off, but everything's wide open. So you're like, I can try this, I can try this, go wherever I want to go.
Right.
You also mentioned that you don't watch wrestling as much, but you saw the CM Punk debut on Rampage. As a professional wrestling fan, I've been watching, I don't know, 27, 28 years. I can't imagine. I don't think I've ever seen a larger reaction. I think maybe when Austin came out to help Mankind win the title, but that to me, like, I think he spoke for so many of the fans that kind of felt like they had no option for a while. And then it's like, oh, wait, there is a promotion out there that's kind of listening and trying to do the right thing. And they brought all these people back. And that reaction, it was just, they called the road warrior pop, I believe is the term that I've heard for that. And just hearing that and seeing that, and then seeing like, now, speaking of JD Drake, he's wrestling tonight against Moxley, Eddie Kingston, and Darby with Pretty Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi. Like this, there's so many opportunities for everybody. If you would have told me, like, that these matchups were like a year ago were going to happen, I'd be like, no way. But now there's just so much fun out there. So you, as a professional wrestler, seeing that reaction, you have to be like, wow, wrestling is back and probably stronger than ever.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I did watch that, of course. Like you said, I don't go out of my way to watch a lot of things anymore, just because I don't want to become jaded and I don't want to be bitter. And sometimes I don't know, just watching can be difficult. I'll leave it at that. But
Okay.
I went out of my way to watch that. One, because I've always been a CM Punk fan, and two, because I wanted to see the reaction, and the reaction doesn't surprise me, but it's tremendous because I think it's the anticipation, and not only the anticipation of like, when is he going to come back? Is he going to come back? Is it really going to happen? But also just, I think he resonates with a lot of people because he's just an everyday guy. He's just a guy who made it happen. He was always true to himself. Love him or hate him, he's that personality. He's never been the one to kiss blood or change what he was or who he stood for, what he stood for. He's just him, unapologetically CM Punk. And as you heard, as you saw the reaction, people get that.
It's real, right? He's not, like he said, he's not trying to be somebody that he's not, but also like the fans can appreciate that. And I think anybody can appreciate that because, like, was that song like, I don't know, like No Fake Friends or something like that? I think that was like one of the songs. It's like, people that are more real, like they're you just resonate with them more, especially with their feelings, because you know what they're saying is the truth. And when he said, he doesn't have a promo, I kind of believe him. Like, that's just kind of going out there and him talking. And I think that's why everybody reacted the way they did. Even Jim Cornette liked it, and Jim Cornette doesn't like anything. So when that guy can like something, that's impressive. But I want to get to, we had talked last week, like, and in a matter of 5 or 6 days, I don't want to say it's the biggest match of your career. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the King, Minoru Suzuki, is coming to the United States of America, and he has a very short list of people he is wrestling, and you are one of them. I'm sure you've been watching Suzuki. I think somebody once referred to him as Murder Grandpa, and I like that name. That really stuck with me. Like, I can't imagine what that is like. Like you said, the peaks and the valleys of just like life in your career, and now you have a match against Suzuki. What is that? What can we expect, and where can we watch it? I know it's Premier Wrestling Experience, PWX. October 2nd. I hope it's streamed somewhere. I don't know if they're on IWTV yet. I hope. Is there something? Can we watch it? What's it like? How did it happen? And how do you prepare for Suzuki?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to answer all of those.
I threw a lot at you. I'm just excited,
you're good.
like a child.
You're good. So Minoru Suzuki. First off, huge fan of his. Have been for years and years, and have been watching him for years and years. And I think he's fantastic. I think stylistically, he had a big impression on me. being from a catch wrestling background, doing the pancrase stuff, and implementing that into the professional wrestling. And then after that, also becoming the huge personality that he also is. He is a king. And yeah, I'm so excited about this. This is insane to me that it's happening. A lot of things that have happened in the last couple of years have actually been pretty insane to me. And sometimes I don't have words. And this is one of those moments. The match is going to be insane. It's going to be crazy. Is it the biggest match that I've ever had? Probably so. Even if people don't view it as the biggest match, from a buy standpoint, from a selling standpoint, that doesn't matter because it is the biggest match to me personally.
It goes beyond that. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. It's one of those matches where I get to go in there with somebody I never thought I'd be able to get in the ring with, and I get to compete and I get to show that I am good enough to be in there with him. And if you get a chance to see it, if you're near North Carolina, anywhere within the vicinity, definitely show up and come and see this, because it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a war. I'm going to leave everything that I have in the ring that night, regardless of what happens in the match. As far as where to watch it, if you're not in the vicinity, PWX Pro Wrestling Experience, they do have their own setup in terms of the streaming service. And I believe the way it is going to work, you can obviously subscribe just like you would IWTV or High Spots or any of those. But I believe they're also going to do one where you can just do like a one-off buy of the event that night, $10, $15, whatever it is. I promise, whether it's 10, whether it's 15, it'll be worth the money. I can promise you that, because like I said, I'm willing to die out there in that match. That's the one for me. That is the one.
Yeah, and people might know Suzuki, but you brought up, I've trained jiu-jitsu for 10, 15 years. So talking about Suzuki, talking about pancrase, he's such a badass on so many levels. The dude was in there with guys like Frank Shamrock, Boss Rutan, Ken Shamrock back in the day with pancrase. He's as legit comes. So your style and his style, like it's going to be fun, scary, and all of those words that I can use. I will definitely be watching. That's going to be just another world. And it's so crazy to think, like, a year ago you were thinking about retiring.
Yeah.
Right. You were like, this isn't for me. And then holy shit, a year and a half later, you versus Suzuki. That's the craziest ride of life. If that's not stick with what you're doing it's such a great story. When you got the call, because I know you were posting that Suzuki was coming, was that by that time you were like, all right, I have the match? Or were you kind of just like, all right, he's coming to my hometown, I want this match?
No, I knew right away that I had the match.
Wow.
I was called, and they wanted to know, hey, we have Suzuki coming in. Do you want him? Absolutely. Absolutely. Come on.
Right.
So yeah, I got the call and I knew. I was just trying, maybe not so well. I was trying to be patient and actually announcing it myself. I was waiting for the graphic to come out to get some buzz and things like that, because, we are still in a business.
Sure.
So I wanted that to be out there, have a nice image for everyone to see, to really take notice of that. But it was really hard to keep my mouth shut about that. As soon as they called me, I was just like, whoa, because like you said, it's a year and a half ago. I was ready to be done. And I went from that to getting called for WWE, to being released by WWE, to, all right, what's next? Really being uncertain, to, okay, your first match back. Well, not your, it won't be my first match back technically, but one of my first matches back, Minoru Suzuki in the main event, my home promotion, actually, Pro Wrestling Experience. And man, even right now, I can't describe. It's
so wild.
The life I live is absolutely wild, and I never would have thought that I'd have this life that I live. It's almost like fate is like a real thing, and I never believed in it, that it was just your destiny to do something. But man, sometimes I gotta question it, because my story is crazy. Like it's a real story that, like, it's almost like you'd make it up and write it out in a book, but it's real. So here we are.
Yeah, and so many people only posted last week. They reached out and they were like, talking about how you had that first tryout, and then what Evolve had to sever ties with you after WWE did, and it was just such a crazy story. And now I'm so stoked that we did this part two. And oh, by the way, Minoru Suzuki. So you
Yeah.
said it's not going to be your first match back. Is there anything else you have planned that you can discuss that maybe is already announced?
Yeah. So they've already announced that the promotion has, and it's another promotion that I worked with before signing with WWE quite a bit. They are on IWTV, and there's Action
Action?
Pro.
Cool.
Yeah, that's in Tyrone, Georgia. And so that'll be technically my very first match back on the independents, and I am excited about that one too, because it's another close second home, third home. I got a bunch of homes, but
That's
it's
good.
it's another promotion I work closely with. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So you have your first match back, and then you have Minoru Suzuki. Do we have like any 6 month, 12-month goals, or is it just we're riding this wave as it comes to us?
I'm kind of riding the wave, and I don't know what's gonna happen, and it's scary yet exciting, because I don't know what's gonna happen, and I hope for the best. Like I said, I'm in talks with a few different places, a lot of different places, and some exciting stuff. Again, just the life I live is some of the stuff I'm talking about is I didn't think would be possible, and but here we are. And when everybody finds out about it, hopefully they're equally excited, and we'll see
Hmm.
where this journey takes me next, because it's been everywhere else.
Yeah, and it's just such a cool story, and I think that match with Suzuki is like one of those things where he only comes, first of all, Suzuki never comes to America, right? And now he's coming to America, only a handful of people. If you're on that short list, that's amazing. But to have a great match with them, that could be the springboard too. It could be one of those moments, something goes viral and just something clicks like that. So literally anything can happen. I'm along with you. I'm along on the wave. I'm gonna get my, like the Twitter I was saying before. I would love to see you and JD Dre come back. There's so many possibilities for you guys, and whatever you have lined up, I'm just stoked for. I want to before I let you go, you posted yesterday that you haven't felt like yourself and you were cosplaying as Anthony Henry for a while. And in a few weeks, you're gonna show the world what an elite athlete and what an elite wrestler is. And I think it just seems like you're in such a good place after such a tumultuous time. It's such a cool story, dude, and you're so positive about everything. And dude, we're rooting for you. We're going to be watching at PWX October 2nd, you versus Minoru Suzuki, and whatever you
Weird.
have on the horizon, man. Where can everybody follow you? And do we have a pro wrestling tee store? I know you had one up,
Yeah.
and a Patreon.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really horrible. I should really update things more. Uh, but no, yeah. So the handle on everything is returned to Anthony Henry. That's ANTNY Henry. That's Instagram, Twitter, even the Facebook, which I hardly ever check. Don't do the Snapchats or any of that crazy stuff. I have a TikTok that I only watch dog videos on. So
That's
there's that.
that's all you need, dude. That's what
Yeah.
TikTok is for, man. I'm with you.
We do have the Patreon, which is essentially me and my wife, who, if you didn't know, also valets me at certain promotions. One of those promotions actually being Pro Wrestling Experience, where I am wrestling Suzuki. So it's just kind of us hanging around, doing workouts in our little garage gym, eating food, playing with our dogs, uploading pictures and things like that. And that's patreon.com/lethal lovers, which is kind of the name that we were given by the fans. Uh, that's about it. Oh yeah, Pro Wrestling Tees. So Pro Wrestling Tees, I do have one. I have no idea what the information is on that. Probably Anthony Henry though, and that's again because I slack and I haven't updated it in forever. But I am gonna get on that because I have some new merch that is going to be coming everyone's way soon. So as soon as actually, I should probably get on that as soon as we're done here.
It's funny,
Put those new designs up.
right after last week's show, I don't mean to stooge Joe off, but he sent me a DM. He's like, dude, he's like, please tell Anthony to update his pro wrestling tees so I could buy his merch. So I was like, all right, I
Yeah,
will totally
yeah.
bring it up on the air.
I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna do that as soon as we get off because I have the 2 designs and I can just literally post them up and get that started. So yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Awesome. Well, listen, we're here for it, dude. Nothing but the best to you. I'm excited to see what's coming, your way. And 2021 was one hell of a year, but I think 2022 is going to be even better.
Oh, I'm gonna kick, yeah. 2022 is gonna kick 2021's ass. But we still have some of 2021 left, and more importantly, we have Anthony Henry versus Minoru Suzuki. And again, I can't express enough how much this match means to me. So if anybody is out there watching and you have your reservations or whatever it is about watching this match, I am begging and pleading, tune in. If you're near North Carolina, go live because it's going to be something to see. If you're not near North Carolina, Pro Wrestling Experience, go to their website. They will have this streaming. And please, please, please go out of your way to see it. I promise you will not regret it.
And tweet about it on social media. I think people underestimate the power of social media, man. Go out there, give a follow, give a like, give a retweet, especially at the promotion, and let your local promotion know. Anthony Henry's a free agent. The dude's going to deliver some great matches. And if you have any matches you want to see him in, we're an open book, man. The world's opening back up. Hopefully, we're going to get some really good professional wrestling, and we look forward to seeing you, man. So
let's do it. Thanks.
Awesome. That's it for another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We're tapping out.